news. Oh, oh. I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Oh yes, good morning, you beautiful souls. It's a Tuesday, and of course, we're choosing to spend it with you. Good morning, you beautiful souls. I'm Raul Morning. Thank you for joining us on this morning's edition of your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And as we do, we tend to delve into all things eco-related. You can obviously tell I'm so happy about that one. Nature Boy is here and he's celebrating everything that's happening this morning. Specifically when we bring awareness ahead of World Wildlife Day, which I cannot wait for, and I know you're going to love it too. So we're connecting with the Head of Business Development at WWF South Africa, Justin Smith, and that's to expand on this year's theme, which is partnerships for wildlife conservation, actually. Well, we're going to have a conversation about conservation right now. And then that's also what's happening when it comes to Wildlife Day and what's wildlife without wildlife, right? So we're inviting conservationist and snake wrangler Steve Megan, who is along with his slimy friends. So it's a kind of like a little bit of a show and tell this morning, of course. We're celebrating. I'm the most excited kid in class today because I cannot wait to see what else is happening for the next 3 hours. But let me tell you, it's going to be absolute magic. And someone that's here to guarantee you that is this beautiful soul. Let's say good morning.
Ta-da! Magic all over the place. Thank you very much, Mr. De Mornay, and great to have you join us, South Africa. We are proudly South African, and of course, we are bringing forth all of the feel-good vibes on this Tuesday morning. So, yes, we are talking about all things wildlife, and so we want to ask you on social media, if you connect with us, do you remember your first wildlife encounter in South Africa? What's your favorite wild animal? Hashtag World Wildlife Day. Mine has to be, I remember actually meeting a cheetah for the very first time and getting to sit right next to it while its handler was like 20 meters away. It was like, "Arr!" And it licked my hand. That was crazy. If you've never had your hand licked by a cheetah before, it's certainly something you should try because it's quite exfoliating. All right, so let us know what you think. Your thoughts, engage with us by sending us your voice notes as well on 063-408-8863. That's how we make sure we connect with you this morning and, of course, for the next 3 hours. Well, right now, let's get you the talking points of the day with the official headlines. Here's De Mornay.
Thank you so much, Kat. You gem. For now, though, yes, it's time to kick off official duties and starting on national news headlines. Now, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has announced another fuel hike. Now, it will take effect tomorrow, and spokesperson Robert Make has cited lower petrol inventory levels globally and the closure of refineries in some countries for seasonal maintenance as the reasons for this increase. Now, both grades of petrol will increase by R1.27 per litre, and the wholesale price of diesel by 30.38 and 31.38 cents per litre. Now, illuminating paraffin will rise by 13 cents per litre at wholesale level and 17 cents a litre at retail level. Well, sticking to national news headlines, the Northern Cape's Department of Education has spent some 86 million rand to provide computer tablets for electronic teaching in high schools. Now, the tablets will go to just over 13,000 learners in the province, and the MEC for Education, Zolile Manakali, says the department wants to improve the Northern Cape's matric results, which was 74% last year, this being the second lowest in the country. Now, Monakali says the department followed the correct purchasing process and the Premier and the Treasury ensured that they could afford the program. Well, from our national news headlines, we head over to international news. And a third-party candidate in Nigeria's tightly contested presidential election has caused a major upset by winning in its largest city, Lagos. Now, the Labour Party's Peter Obi narrowly defeated the ruling party's Bola Tinubu in his heartland. Now, Tinubu is a former governor of Lagos State and hoped to use his record there as the basis of his presidential bid. Now, the result still has to be confirmed by the head of Election Commission, but Tinubu said that as a Democrat, he accepts the outcome. Now, results of the election are expected to roll in during the course of the next few days. Well, back to our international news headlines. Police in Ecuador have found almost 8.8 tons of cocaine in a shipment of bananas bound for Belgium. Now, police said the drugs would have been worth an estimated $330 million had they reached their destination. Now, Ecuador has become one of the main transit countries for cocaine produced in neighboring Peru and Colombia. Now, last year, more than 200 tons of the drug were seized in the Andean country. Now, with Ecuador, the world's largest exporter of bananas, smugglers often try to hide the illegal consignments among the fruit being shipped to destinations all over the globe. Well, lastly, in our news headlines, Besiktas soccer supporters in Turkey lobbed thousands of soft toys onto the pitch during a match against Antalyaspor in a gesture to donate to children affected by the earthquakes. Now, the match was paused after 4 minutes and 17 seconds, representing the time the first earthquake struck Turkey and Syria at 17 minutes past 4 on the 6th of February. Now, from the stands, the fans then began throwing the toys to go to the children in Turkey and Syria, and more than 50,000 people died in the earthquakes. Now, Besiktas said their fans organized a meaningful event called This Toy Is My Friend in order to boost the morale of children affected by the earthquake. Now, they lobbed scarves, berets, and plush toys as gifts to them. And also, search and rescue officers present at the stadium were warmly applauded by the big crowd. Now, Besiktas defender Tayyab Sanuk said, and quoted, "There are more important things than football. Our fans held a meaningful event, and I was very touched. Now, we hope to never experience such a disaster again." Unquote. Well, on that inspiring note, I leave you with the rest of the headlines. Here's Kat with the latest when it comes to sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Demone. We're starting off with cricket news this morning, where the Proteas will formally kick off a new era in South African cricket when they face the West Indies in the first test in Centurion today. Now, Themba Bavuma will take the reins for the first time as captain, with Shukri Conrad heading the hosts as the red ball coach for the two-game sequence. Now, the final assignment, this is for the home side for their 2021-2023 World Test Championship cycle. Now, the Proteas are fourth in those rankings, having been in the top three for most of the competition, although they are now officially out of the running to reach the finals in June. And now getting over to football news, Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni has extended his contract until 2026 after he led the team to their World Cup triumph in Qatar last year. Scaloni renewed his contract after meeting with AFA President Claudio Tapia in Paris on Monday, taking him through to the next World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Scaloni also won the Copa America in 2021 and the Finalissima against Italy, and he's also recorded 37 wins, 15 draws, and 5 defeats in 57 games. What a record. Keeping with football news, Argentina and Paris Saint-Germain forward Lionel Messi has been named the Men's Player of the Year at the 2022 Best FIFA Awards. The 7-time Ballon d'Or winner beat French forwards Kylian Mbappe and Karim Benzema to the award. Messi helped Argentina win the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, scoring 27 goals in 49 games for club and country in 2021-22. Barcelona's Alexia Putellas was named Women's Player of the Year. Now, Lionel Scaloni, who led Argentina to their third World Cup title, was named Men's Coach of the Year, while Aston Villa and Argentina's Emiliano Martinez was recognized as the leading men's goalkeeper. And then in golfing news, Charles Howell III claimed his first LIV golf title at the season opening event with a stunning 8-under par 63 in the final round in Mexico. The American won $4 million plus a quarter of the $1 million prize for winning the team event with Crushers GC. The 43-year-old finished on 16 under, 4 shots clear of runner-up Peter Uihlein. Now, Howell won approximately $42 million in 609 events on the PGA Tour after turning professional in 2000. Well, that's it for the sports headlines. We'll take another look at 7 o'clock. Right now, here's a first look at the weather as we get you ready for the day.
Yes, of course, it's time to take a look at the weather and, of course, report on weather news. Now, this morning, the Department of Water and Sanitation and Amatola Water have deployed another 20 water tankers to limit the impact of the drought crisis in parts of Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. Now, the Director for Water Distribution in the Metro, Joseph Tsatsire, says residents still use too much water. Now, this while the level of supply dams stand at 12.7% and only has 184 days of water left from the 5 dams. Now, he urges residents to reduce consumption to meet the 230 megalitres per day target. Now, presently, the city uses an average of 290 megaliters per day, and Tatsire says several interventions are in place to prevent day zero, but residents have to cooperate to change the situation. Now, meanwhile, the SA Weather Service has issued an orange level 5 warning for disruptive rain over the northern eastern parts of Limpopo and a yellow level 2 warning for disruptive rain over the Lowveld and along the escarpment of Limpopo. Well, from our weather news, we head over to our sunrise views, and those updates this morning are something I'm absolutely looking forward to. Now, we've got first up Tebogo in Lesotho, who captured this lovely view of the sun peeking up between the mountains, and oh, do we not just absolutely love it. Beautiful stuff indeed. Next up, we've got Brad all the way in Langebaan, who sent in this sunrise filled with beautiful hues, like a pastel painting just blending in. What a beautiful shot. Next up, we've got Reagan in Chatsworth, who snapped a safari feel with palm trees swaying in the wind just as the sun is about to peek through. I love it. And then Maureen all the way in Alberton shared this video, and she took this one of the sky showing off orange hues glimmering up the town. Oh, what a powerful video indeed. I absolutely love it, Mzansi. Thank you so much for sending those shots through. And if you have any videos or pictures, please share it with us. And you can use the number 063-408-8863 because we'd love to see how you start your day wherever you are in the country. And hey, speaking of the country, it's time to take a look at those temperatures. Let's start off in Polokwane. Now, your day starts at a low of 16, moving up to a high of 26 degrees. Over in Mbombela, the day starting at 18 up to 28 degrees. Pretoria sees the day starting at a low of 16 up to 30, and Johannesburg, 14 is your low up to a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Moving over to Mahikeng now, where the day starts at a low of 16 up to a nice warm 31 degrees. Much the same for Klerksdorp, 15 up to a warm 32 degrees. Kimberley brings even more heat from 16 up to 34, and Bloemfontein, 14 is up to a high of 32 degrees Celsius. Moving over to Pietermaritzburg now, where you can expect some potential thunder and rain in your side of the world, 18 up to a high of 29. Durban sees the day starting at 23 up to 29 with thunder coming through. Mthatha sees some rain coming through in your side of the world, 17 up to 28. And of course, East London carrying on with those conditions and around the coastline, starting at 19 degrees and moving up to a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Cradock sees the day starting at 15 up to a nice warm 32 degrees. GQ Gqeberha sees the day starting at 19 up to 25. And George, 17 is your low up to a high of 25 degrees. And let's hope that whatever rainfall does come through lands in those catchment areas. Moving over to the mother city now, your day starting at 15 up to 25 with sunny skies expected. Worcester sees the day starting at a chilly at 12 degrees but up to a nice warm 35. Sutherland sees the day starting at 11 up to 30 degrees. And Uppington, of course, taking the cake all the way from 20 degrees up to a scorching 39 degrees Celsius with sunny skies all the way around. Again, Mzansi, thank you for sending those incredible pictures in. And speaking of incredible pictures, here's a picture that we'd like you to make even more incredible, and that's by making it move and choosing some style tips. I'm talking about Zoe. Let's check in.
Oh, thank you, Raul. That's very sweet of you. Well, you know, the seasons, I don't know if you've noticed, but they are slowly starting to change and shift, and that can only mean one thing: a wardrobe update with Woolworths' stylish transitional wear. Now, today I'm wearing this turtleneck. In fact, it is a mesh top, and I've styled it over a plain black vest and paired it with these black faux leather pants, and of course, the winter platform boots, which are a staple. And this outfit is perfect for layering, so I just need you to help me choose which winter hero to add to elevate and complete my look. So are we going to go for option 1, which is this V-neck jumper in a timeless animal print. It will keep you warm and exudes effortless chic vibes. So that is option 1. Or are we going to go for option 2, which is this faux fur aviator jacket with an asymmetrical zip and also some pocket zips over here, and this will keep the chills out on even cooler days. This is option 2. So let me know. Head on over to our social media, cast your vote for option 1 or option 2, and the hero will obviously be included in my wardrobe and my look for the rest of the show. And of course, don't forget to include that hashtag styled by Woolies. Which one?
warm welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast show on this Tuesday morning, where we also discuss health matters on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Now, let's talk about obesity, which is on the rise globally, with 1 billion people predicted to be living with the disease by 2030. Now, World Obesity Day is observed on the 4th of March, and with the theme Changing Perspectives, aims to correct misconceptions and stigmas and get everybody making decisions to shift from single views to shared strategies. Now, with us this morning to chat more about obesity is the CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, Professor Pamela Naidu, and the owner of Bariatric Dietitian Clinic, Claire McMahon. Great to have you here.
Yeah, morning, ladies.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I think we can get straight into it because there's so much to chat about, and this is something that is so pertinent, I think, for our country especially. What is obesity? Pamela, maybe I can ask you, and I'd like to open up the floor with this one.
Yes, absolutely. So obesity is basically defined as having excessive fat in the body.
Okay.
Yeah, it's excessive or abnormal fat, you know, that could be distributed pretty much throughout the body, but the one that we're really concerned about is if it's around the waist and the stomach.
The troublesome area that we can't get rid of, yeah.
Exactly.
And Claire, so when we talk about your profession as a dietitian, tell me about the role that you play in helping people who suffer with obesity.
I think a very important thing is that our understanding about obesity has grown throughout the years. And we really need to realize that obesity is a disease. It's not something that people necessarily bring upon themselves. We need to treat it as a disease with proper strategies, medical, surgical, not just lifestyle. But certainly from my side, lifestyle interventions, teaching people how to eat and what to eat, which is confusing because, let's face it, there is so much misinformation about nutrition out there. There's always a new trend and a new diet and a new quick fix that people latch onto. Unfortunately, the basics have kind of been the basics for years and years, but I see my role to really teach people how to eat properly rather than teaching people how to diet. And hopefully to try and prevent some of the obesity or manage the obesity and all the associated diseases that go with it.
It's almost interesting that you mention that, because do you not find potentially in your space that people are lacking the ability, like you said, to actually eat all the foods, but we're so much more focused on getting rid of, eating less, and minimizing to lose weight, right? It's such a weird conundrum. Pamela, maybe I can ask you, following up from that, obesity can be viewed as maybe to some people just an aesthetic thing. Love your body and you'd be okay, right? It's okay to have some excess fat, like you mentioned, but does it get to a point where it can actually affect your health? Are there any adverse effects to it? Like, is it actually more than just an aesthetic thing, or am I is that a misconception? Let's say that.
Look, I think it's definitely a misconception. I think there's certain cultures around the world where to have a little extra weight is sexy and it's okay, but it's actually not okay because there's a direct correlation between having excessive fat and ill health. So very common conditions that you may end up having would be like heart disease, strokes, sleep apnea, respiratory disorders, because the more weight you carry, the more difficult it is to breathe. And so, yeah, it's very much linked to ill health.
I'm wondering if we could take a step back, because we say that we're trying to change perceptions and stigmas as well. So the definition of obesity as a disease and trying to help people understand why we class it as that. Claire, take me through that kind of conversation that one would need to understand.
So there's been a lot of research into obesity just over the last 10 or 20 years. And we realize that there are a lot of hormonal and metabolic factors that have an impact towards obesity, and that some people seem to have the genetic predisposition towards it. Now, having a genetic predisposition doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. There's a lovely expression that say that genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger.
I like that.
But there certainly is a strong genetic predisposition towards obesity that some people, if you look at families, they're just bigger families. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all living on hot dogs and fizzy cool drinks, but they are adapted to gain weight more readily than other people.
And that's exactly why we are having this kinds of conversations, so that we can educate the nation and the world indeed on changing these perspectives and the stigmas that we associate with something like obesity, and how we then can be more helpful to our communities out there. We'd love to hear from you regarding this topic. Please do send us a voice note on 063-408-8863. We'll be back with more conversations.
Thank you, T. Well, when it comes to your abs, they're also one of the most important muscles in your body, and having a stronger core will help your strength, your lifts, helping your number on the bench press, overhead work, and the deadlifts and squats. Having a strong core is key. And an effective ab program will also improve your proficiency in any sport. It will help you to maintain good posture and even eliminate back pain. Well, the man with the best abs in the game, Raul de Mornay, he has come up with a routine that will allow you to achieve all of these goals. So it's time for you to get moving and follow along.
Yes, you beautiful people, welcome back to it. Gaia out here doing something special, and that's encouraging you to move wherever you are, outdoors, at home, inside, it doesn't matter, and you don't need any equipment whatsoever. So this is a 5-minute workout, once again, that's going to absolutely make you burn fat, get fit, and get your shred on. So I've got Liam joining me for this one. What you're gonna see from Liam is all these standard or elite versions of the exercise, but if you are struggling to do any of the movements, I will be showing you a graded down version that you can do and kind of use it as an incentive to work your way towards this level over here. Right, so it's very simple, 30 seconds on, and then you earn yourself a 30-second break, and we're gonna repeat that 5 times. That means 5 exercises in total, and that will complete 1 full set. All right, so starting off nice and simple, this is both a warm-up as well as a muscle activator, but again, as always, the cardio element is there, so we're definitely gonna be burning some calories. So it's high knees, very simple. You bring your knee all the way to your hip height. You can have your hands in front, or drive your arms to create more of a cardio effect and burn even more calories. It looks like this, high knees, so you're staying on your toes, staying nice and light, and keeping that intensity. All right, you guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High knees, let's go. Keep pumping those arms. You're gonna get an extra calorie burn on this one, and make sure you're raising those legs nice and high. We're working the core, we're stimulating those hip flexors, as well as that psoas has too. So let's get working. You essentially wanna make sure when you are running, you're keeping a high knee that's coming towards your waistline. On top of that, every time you recover with your footsteps, try to get your heel to not touch the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful stuff. All right, you just earned yourself your first break. That's 30 seconds. Make sure you have a nice, deep, slow breath and recover. While you're waiting for 30 seconds for your rest, let me explain to you the next exercise. Very simple. It's called butt kicks. So essentially, you're raising your heels towards those glutes, and you're staying off the heels when you're landing on the ground. So you're really staying on your toes on the run and driving those legs into the glutes. All right, you ready? In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Butt kicks. This again is a great warm-up exercise, as well as a good stimulator of the hamstrings and the glutes. But at the same time, we are burning calories as always. 30 seconds, keep pushing, keep moving, people. Woo. Got my hands behind my glutes just to make sure that the heels are touching. We're repeating that tempo. All right, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. All right, 2 exercises already done. While you grab that 30-second break, let me explain the next exercise to you. It's called jump lunges. You want to start off in a lunge position. And essentially, jumping in the air, I'm going to switch this right leg from the front. It's going to go to the back, and the left leg will do the exact opposite thing. So jumping in the air, switching, and having a nice soft stance and landing every time I recover. All right, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jump lunges. Whew. As you can see, Liam's got the elite version. I'm doing the graded version for anyone that is struggling to maximize and get this workout in. And you can work towards exploding up and then slowly going down and exploding and driving those hips forward and then slowly going down. Alternating, but at the same time making sure that you're increasing that tempo. Beautiful. All right, 5 seconds left. 4, 2, 1. That's time. Beautiful stuff, people. Grab another 30 seconds rest. For now, though, we're moving over to exercise number 4. It is a burpee. You all know what the burpee is, right? So let me show you the standard version. You're just jumping, clap in the air, jump in the air. If you're really struggling with the standard burpee, what you can do is a graded version. So starting off in a high plank, kick your feet out. While you've got a good stance in the high plank, you go for recovery, bring your feet back, and then raise your hands above your head, nice and tall. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Elite version with Liam. I'm doing the graded version, but keep moving no matter what. 30 seconds. Whew. Beautiful stuff, people. We step up, jump up, step back down. 5 more seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo, that's time. One more exercise coming up while you're resting for 30 seconds. It's called the jump squat. Great workout, making sure that you're landing nice and softly by maintaining a good squat form. So, landing nice and soft, explode in the air, and then cushion that landing once again. If you're really struggling with this one, again, I've got the graded version. This is the elite version. All you simply want to do is go from a squat, climb up, get your heels off the ground, and straight back up. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, jump squat. Now, as you can see, I'm still trying to incorporate a little explosive power, although I am doing a graded version, and you can see my heels lifting off the ground, just enforcing more power. Liam, of course, doing a brilliant job at his standard jump squats. Whew. All right, hang in there, people. 5 more seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo-hoo. Woo! Beautiful stuff, people. Well done. That wasn't easy, but that essentially is how you burn calories, shred fat, and get your cardio on. I hope you enjoyed that one. And of course, we'll see you for the next one. And remember, there's no excuse not to move. Outdoors, inside, you're blessed with a body, so use it. And have a beautiful one.
The ab game is strong, the arm game is strong.
Check my man's. Yeah.
He's doing the shakes. Isn't that a good thing when the muscles like
This is fine form, actually.
vibrate?
This is quite impressive. I don't know if I could do this. Kat's been inspired, clearly. And I hope you have too, Mzansi. And of course, you don't need any equipment whatsoever. Just like this man is doing a little hack here on the couch.
You guys go to ad break already.
Yeah, yeah.
Go to an ad break. Go to an ad break. Give him an ad break.
I like what you did there.
Unlock your 100% this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. as we take on the ultimate fear. Meet an actor who dreams of taking his career to the next level by doing and performing his own stunts. Only problem is, there's one big obstacle standing in the way.
Outside I look tough, but deep down, height just gets me.
Watch as Jurgen McEwen unlocks his 100%. Wednesday, the 1st of March at 7:30 p.m. Only on SABC2.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
A very good morning to you. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on this Tuesday morning, where we continue our discussion regarding obesity with Professor Pamela Naidu and dietitian Claire McMahon. Now, here's a shocking statistic for you. In South Africa, 7 in 10 women and 3 in 10 men are overweight or obese. A more worrying statistic is that approximately 1 in 7 children in South Africa between the ages of 6 and 14 are overweight or obese. So a very, very concerning statistic, especially when we look at the future of our country. And so we want to understand how we can better help our communities to live a healthier lifestyle. Right?
Yeah, and Pamela, I mean, just looking at the statistic, this is quite alarming to say the least, especially when it comes to our kids. I mean, this is the future of our nation, and if they're not getting it right, then who is going to? Essentially, what's kind of happening to curb this sort of growing statistic? What is it? 1 in 7 children in South Africa between the age of 6 and 14 are overweight or obese. That is crazy to me at such a young age. I mean, organizations like the Heart and Stroke Foundation, are they maybe assisting in this process or trying to deal with this challenge in any way?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think the point about the theme for this year is changing perspective. Let's talk about obesity.
Yes.
And I think the idea around that is to address the complexities of obesity. So if you just take South Africa as a case example, firstly, the way we're measuring obesity is an issue, but because we want to do a cross-country comparison, we use body mass index. So kind of that statistic is based on the measure of body mass index. May not be that accurate really for certain cultures, but be that as it may, I think that if you look at South Africa, we're a very unequal country. So which means that the causes for obesity are very different. So because the other statistic around children is that many children in this country are malnourished.
Yeah.
So when you're in utero and you're not getting, so while your mom's pregnant, if you're not getting the right nutrition, actually the roots of obesity for that child can start there. Oh, wow. Versus a mother or a family who doesn't eat very well. So, you know, it is very complex. Even if a child in a poorer area is eating well and maybe even walking to school with the parent, but exercise outside of that routine is unsafe. So, you know, it is not a simple issue. So I think that we need to understand the statistic in that context.
Yeah, and all the other challenges, the external challenges that are impacting that
absolutely.
as well, yeah.
That's for children, but the women's so there's also gender and health, right?
Right.
So women, you know, you have to think about pre-menopause, menopause, post-menopause.
Yeah.
It's usually around that age and stage that the weight gain becomes an issue. So it's complex, and the thing about talking about it is that so people can understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've spoken about children, you've spoken about women. What about men, where we mentioned that 3 in every 10 men are overweight or obese? Where does the risk factor in terms of age or lifestyle lie?
Sure. So I think, you know, just from a medical or a biological perspective, men carry more muscle weight. So the tendency for them to show the weight gain is probably going to come later in life. Whereas for women, obviously it's different.
Yeah.
Look, I think the older one gets, for any medical condition, I don't really like the word disease because it sort of medicalizes everything. I would call it a medical condition rather, because of the complexity of it. So I think that age brings with it, you know, it's like the older you get, the more prone you are to a stroke, to heart disease, and so on and so forth.
Claire, can we talk about the interventions that are available out there for people who might be struggling with this? So one, I guess, being looking at what you take in, you know, healthy food. Is it healthy food all across the spectrum, i.e. the food that a person who is not obese should be consuming in order to live a healthy lifestyle is the same food that a person who is suffering with obesity should be consuming?
I think there's a terrible misconception that there needs to be a special diet with special nutrients or food groups that are left out if you are obese. And actually, a healthy diet is a healthy diet, whether you are of normal weight or whether you are obese. Lots of fruit and vegetables, complex carbohydrates, not too much refined bread and white rice and that sort of thing, not too much fat, but we don't want to cut fat out completely, sufficient protein. You know, and I think modern lifestyles, busy lifestyles, lots of fast food, people grabbing things and not actually cooking for themselves anymore. The high cost of fruit and vegetables these are things that have all had a big role to play
Yeah.
in lifestyle factors that affect obesity in our country.
Well, we'll come back and continue our conversation regarding the interventions and what you could possibly do as well, just to live a healthier lifestyle in general. And a question that I wanted to ask is, you know, with things like this keto diet and then this diet, and you should only be eating greens, only meat, only fruits. How do you know which one works for you? All right, so stick around. We'll be back with our conversation shortly.
Well, it's only fitting that we're in the kitchen right now, and when it comes to being lactose intolerant and restricted from, you know, eating the most scrumptious, creamy cheese dishes, there is no fun in that. But thanks to No Lac from Clover, you can enjoy dairy again with their lactose-free range. And today is going to be a complete game changer. We're going to show you how to make your own lactose-free soft cheese at home. Katlego, come and join me. Have you ever made soft cheese?
I've never made cheese, period. You know, I've seen how it's made on those fancy. I used to love watching those how it's made shows. And they take you through the process of everything. I like watching hands do things. So this is very exciting for me.
So we are using our No Lac milk. We've got about 1.5 liters. We've also added, we've got some distilled vinegar over there.
Lovely.
So we've heated up our milk. So you can just give it a good stir for me.
By the way, firstly, do you know what do you call this? This top part of the milk when it does that, when it's...
I always call it the skin. I don't know what
skin.
the real name is. I don't know what the real name is.
In Setswana, we call it le baby.
Le baby.
Le baby.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
What does that translate to?
No, that would be like, well, it's like asking what is skin. It's skin. It's just what you call it. Le baby. Okay, so I add this.
You're going to add the vinegar, and what's that going to do is, and give it a good stir.
Oh, give it a good stir.
That's going to essentially cause our milk to curdle.
Oh, that was so quick. Look at that.
So give it a good stir. Make sure it
And that's supposed to happen, right?
Yes. So now we're going to separate the curd from the whey. The whey is what's going to be left over. That's
Who was
the
eating her
liquid part.
curds and whey again? Little Miss Muffet, sorry.
Little Miss Muffet.
Yeah.
Sat on her
Tuffet, eating her curds and whey. And then what happened?
And then isn't that where I'm getting it confused
Along
now
came
with
a spider.
Humpty Dumpty.
No, how do you get it confused with Humpty? Along came a spider and sat down beside her. And frightened Miss Muffet away.
There we go.
Yay.
I missed that.
Taking you back to creche. Okay, so what do we do now?
So now we've got our mixture going. We're going to do 2 different methods. So Kat, you can bring that across, but before you carry it, let me just say, half the mixture, can you put it through the strainer, and the other half we'll put through the cloth.
Okay.
There are 2 different methods to make the soft cheese. This is a bit of a tedious process in the sense that you need to allow for some time.
Okay.
So you can just do half the mixture in there for me.
About...
Let's get some of our...
Yeah, that's the main part of it.
There we go.
That much?
That's perfect. And then bit in here, the rest in here.
I feel like this is the more traditional way of making it.
Yes, I feel like this is the professional way of making it.
Is this making you hungry, Zoe?
Did you hear my tummy?
I heard your tummy going,
It's early morning, okay?
Okay.
So, Kat, we've now separated our whey from our curd, and you are going to use the spatula and just keep rubbing it around, and we're going to try get it to form into that ball. But it's going to take some time, the manual method. We want to separate let me just get the juices out of here.
So wait, which part is the curd, which part is the whey?
That is the curd, the liquid is the whey.
Oh, so you can pop that into your smoothie and be like, oh, whey protein. No?
I don't know if that's the same way. You're asking me questions I don't know.
You're an expert. Yeah.
I'm following the recipe. I'm
There we go, but
trusting
this is-
the recipe.
But this is looking good. Oh, it's still
There we
draining.
go.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
So just get the curd in here. That's eventually going to become our cheese.
Oh, that's
and
so
I'm going
cool.
to use the cloth where you simply just strain the whey out.
This is so cool.
And we are using our Clover No Lac, which is great for people that are lactose intolerant.
Yes.
And if you are lactose intolerant, some of those symptoms could include, you know, an upset stomach, bloating and nausea after you consume dairy. And the Clover No Lac lactose-free range of milk and dairy snack, it really enables you to enjoy dairy again in versatile and delicious ways.
So quickly tell me, right? Because you're the cheese expert.
No.
So like, if
recipe
you would, no, come. So if you would like leave this in like, I guess a temperature controlled room, atmosphere controlled room, and then like you left it for like a week, Is it like how they get like mature cheese?
I think that would require a different method. But can you just scoop that into your bowl?
Yes.
And
Here we
then
go.
in there, you'll just work it a bit. Just work it so that... But can you see? But try keep it into that circular motion because we want our cheese to look like that.
Oh, that's what you were going for.
So that's the first method. And as you can see, we've split this recipe, so you would be left with a bit more cheese. But this method is you drain all the way out, and then you simply wrap it around your cloth on a wooden spoon. You'll tie that around, and you'll leave it for about half an hour, and you'll be left with your soft cheese.
What does it taste like?
Can you
eat it now?
This is what we made yesterday.
Oh, my word. Okay.
Give it a taste.
Okay, wait.
And just look how beautiful it is when you cut into it.
With a little cracker. Okay, let's get... Oh. Oh.
Soft cheese. How does it taste? Oh, I'm hearing a crunch.
Mmm. Nice and it's clean on the palate.
Yeah, so of course you can then add pepper, spice it up with...
Some salt. Maybe some fig. Maybe that marmalade that we made yesterday.
Oh.
Brilliant stuff. Well done.
There we go.
Easy.
Well, if you want to get your hands on this delicious recipe, it's available on our website, expressoshow.com.
Impressive.
Clover No Lac. Lactose-free milk that lets you enjoy dairy again. Made with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show as we wrap up our discussion on obesity with dietitian Professor Pamela Naidu and dietitian Claire McMahon. Now, in South Africa, in the South African context at least, an estimated 31% of men and 68% of women and 13.5% of children are classified as overweight. We reflected a little bit on those statistics a little bit earlier on. And then the question that I asked Claire during the break was, I remember doing a genetic test years ago that said a person of my genetic makeup should be eating this kind of food and that kind of food in order to live a healthy lifestyle. And we also know that there are so many different kinds of diets. Is there one that works for all, or should we be focusing on these kind of things?
So probably the diet that's been the best researched and shown to have the best effect on weight, risk of heart disease, diabetes, etc., is what we call the Mediterranean diet. So it's the diet eaten classically in Mediterranean countries like Greece, parts of Italy, and it's a diet that is very high in fruits and vegetables, moderate amounts of grain and protein, healthy fats, what we call monounsaturated fats, so olive oil, nuts, avocado pears, those sort of things, small amounts of alcohol in moderation. How they eat is also important. Regular meals, putting time into meals, eating slowly, eating mindfully, enjoying food. And that's probably, on the whole, what most of us should be striving to eat.
It's so strange that you mentioned that, because if I look at their lifestyles as well, it goes against what we generally perceive. I mean, these are people that are eating baguettes and pizzas and pastas.
Well,
they're having afternoon naps, but yet they're
well,
still...
that's more the sort of Italian side.
Okay.
But certainly the lifestyle of taking time out to enjoy your food, having a nap in the afternoon.
Lots of walks as well.
Lots of walks. You know, I think that goes together with it, actually giving ourselves time to have a life. So that we're not racing from pillar to post and never have time to eat a proper meal.
But I think with that, just the testament stands in terms of, like, they are eating carbs, like you said, they are eating fat, maybe not saturated fats as much, but they're still getting good fat, and their macro balance is being ticked, which I think for a lot of us, we fall in this trap of thinking that, like you mentioned, we've got to cut it out, we've got to take it away, and everybody gets affected so differently. I mean, you were mentioning earlier something I want to bring up with regards to the difference with men and women, and how diet maybe affects our hormones, our balance, our age. There's so much to take into account. It seems like you say it can get overwhelming when we try and manipulate each result and take each ingredient for what it is, when it could be so simple, like you're just mentioning now. A Mediterranean diet, it seems so simple, so manageable as well, and so doable. Maybe, Pamela, I can ask you, what sort of other factors impact those changes when it comes to men and women experiencing obesity? Is there anything that one group should stay away from that the other can afford to do, or is it kind of still more or less a blanket approach there?
So I'm not a dietitian, I'm a public health specialist. So my dietitians at the office tell me, well, we run the Heartmark program. And if you look at certain products on the shelf, you'll see our Heartmark logo. And that means that companies who are more conscious around, you know, what they want to give to the public to consume, they put the right ingredients and the right proportions into the products. So it's literally looking at three basic things: sugar, fats, and salt. Okay, and so I think that it's very difficult to, you know, because that South Africa is also not just a complex society, but we have multicultural genetic makeup. You know, so yes, some people may have this Mediterranean origin, you know, some people come from East Africa, Asia, wherever. And so it's the genetics that we also need to consider. Okay, aside from the gender factor. So I just want to also bring up another issue, because a lot of what we're talking about is very individualistic. I think what we also need to, just by way of interventions, which then impact women, men, children, and everybody, is to look at, I'm sure a lot of people from government are watching, hopefully. So, you know, the interventions should be multi-pronged. So you can't rely on the individual to be the only person to take responsibility. Yes, one should, but sometimes factors are against you. in a particular, so in what we call the environmental factors, which sometimes people don't have in their own control. So what, you know, the sugar sweetened beverage tax, for example, that's a very effective measure, which is subtle and not in your face, but it's one way of getting industry to conform, you know. So yeah, I mean, there are many, many ways, but I do think ultimately self-management is very important. So I think awareness, education, caring for the people around you, and trying to build safe communities and safe cities. So a lot of it is the policymakers that could also help us to reduce the burden of obesity.
Beautiful.
Ladies, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And with World Obesity Day coming up on the 4th of March, perhaps an opportunity for you to glean some information from this conversation and continue to do your research and just to be made more aware of what is going on out there. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
Now, speaking on the topic of health, let's turn our attention to our healthcare professionals. Now, pharmacists are not only brave, but they inspire hope within their community. And Pharmacy of the Week, it is a short feature where we acknowledge our incredible pharmacists. And this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Now, let's look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week, SaverMed Pharmacy in Benoni.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
We chose pharmacy basically to serve in the community because we recognize a need for healthcare provision. And not just healthcare provision, but quality healthcare provision. The township communities are the most underserviced communities in South Africa. And that's where the majority of people in South Africa live. So hence we decided to go into the underprivileged and the underserviced communities because we believe everybody deserves dignity. And if you deny people health care, you're basically denying them dignity in a way. So hence we decided to go to the people who are being underserviced. Pharmacy-initiated therapy it's very important. The first person that the people go to is the pharmacist rather than their doctors because the pharmacy is reasonable, the amount of money that you charge, it's just for the medication. We don't charge more of the service. Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, basically supported us by helping us being in front, by making sure that products are available during the difficult times. We had stock, by making sure that we as pharmacists, we are able to provide on our mandate, as our mandate is to make sure that people get access to quality health care.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Inspiring communities, one pharmacy at a time.
Good times is what life is all about. But sometimes heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux and UTIs can really put a dampener on our days. This summer, make sure you have citrus soda as your good health companion, relieving you of all heartburn, indigestion and UTI symptoms. Let's get back to feeling good. Citrus soda brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Well, we just want to say thank you to all of our local pharmacies doing amazing work in their community. We appreciate you.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast show. Indeed, welcome back. We have Lauren Lee in studio with us today. She's going to perform, but that's not all. We also have more to talk around wildlife, but that and a whole lot more coming up. Let's quickly catch up with those morning headlines.
Thank you so much. So yes, it's just gone on the hour, or just past the hour, and it's time for official duties once again, and starting on national news headlines. Now, several islands in the lower Orange River, including Cannon, Myers, Sand, and Langklaas Islands, are cut off from the outside world. Now, the bridges that connect the islands to the shore are underwater. Now, large amounts of water reached this area after at least 12 sluices in the Vaal Dam and several of the Blomhof Dam were opened last week. Now, a spokesperson for the ZF Magawe municipality at Uppington, Martha Manyehe, says residents of the island have been taken to safety. Now, she said no injuries or deaths had been reported. Well, sticking to national news headlines, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has announced another fuel hike. Now, it will take effect tomorrow, and spokesperson Robert Make has cited lower petrol inventory levels globally and the closure of refineries in some countries for seasonal maintenance as the reason for the increase. Now, both grades of petrol will increase by R1.27 per litre, and the wholesale price of diesel by 30.38 and 31.38 cents per litre. Now, illuminating paraffin will rise by 13 cents per litre at wholesale level and 17 cents a litre at retail level. Well, from national news headlines, we head over to international news. Now, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has said that the UN Human Rights Council meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has caused the worst human rights violations in the modern world. Now, some 100 heads of state and government representatives are in attendance, and war crimes and human rights violations are on the agenda. Now, the head of the UN Human Rights Council, Volker Turk, warned earlier that the progress made in recent decades with human rights could be undone with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, Turk labeled it a senseless war and said it was a good example of oppression of people. Well, sticking to national news headlines and moving over to Africa now, the third-party candidate in Nigeria's tightly contested presidential election has caused a major upset by winning in its largest city, Lagos. Now, the Labour Party's Peter Obi narrowly defeated the ruling party's Bola Tinubu in his heartland. Now, Tinubu is a former governor of Lagos State and hoped to use his record there as the basis of his presidential bid. Now, the result still has to be confirmed by the head of Election Commission, but Tinubu said that as a Democrat, he accepts the outcome. Now, results of the election are still expected in the course of the next few days. While sticking to international news headlines, employees of the Evanston Ranger District Office in Utah in the U.S. have warned visitors to be on the lookout for the newest resident in the area. Now, we're talking about a young bull moose who appears to have set up camp outside the office and is particularly fond of the office's front door as well as a particular tree nearby. Now, the U.S. Forest Services said in a post that the moose had been lingering around the building for several days. Now, officials say the moose has claimed the ranger station as his own, and a quote came through saying potential visitors are advised to call ahead before approaching the office as he hangs around the building all day, unquote. Now, sounds like the perfect security guard to fend off all unwanted visitors. Well, on that note, I leave you with the rest of the headlines. Here's the latest when it comes to traffic and all the news on the roads.
Thank you, Raul. Let's start off with traffic in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. Earlier, there was an accident on the N2 North leading to the N3 North, and that is at the Spaghetti Junction. The accident has still not been cleared and is currently causing heavy delays. Then moving to Cape Town in the Western Cape, there's ramp closures on the N1 inbound, and this is at that ramp leading to the N7 northbound due to a truck that's broken down. Please use an alternative route. And that's your traffic for this morning. Let's take another look at your weather. And a winter storm has brought some unprecedented snow to Southern California. It has moved eastwards, bringing with it tornadoes and powerful winds. Residents in Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and Texas were asked to seek shelter as severe weather makes its way to the region. In Oklahoma, 7 tornadoes were reported to have hit the state late on Sunday, Footage shows overturned cars and homes with collapsed roofs due to strong winds. A wind speed of 83 kilometers an hour was recorded in northern Texas near the border with Oklahoma, the equivalent of a Category 3 hurricane. Last week, California grappled with rare snow and one of the strongest storms to ever hit the state. Snowflakes were even seen falling in Los Angeles, a city famed for its palm trees and sun-kissed boulevards. Local residents were seen marveling at the unfamiliar sight of snow flurry around the Hollywood sign on Mount Lee. Well, that is your update on your weather. Let's take another look at those sunrise views. For your 7 a.m. update, we received this one from Bailey in Goldstone that captured a lovely view overlooking the city, showing off some early morning mist. And then one of our regulars, Lerato, shared this gorgeous photo while heading to the studio this morning to capture a blast of, look at those pinks in the sky. And then we have Frederick in Somerset West showing off the leaves of the tree between the stunning tones of the sky. And last up, we have Rani Naidu in Shelley Beach, who showcased this picture-perfect photo while she is out and enjoying the stroll on the beach. What a magical way to start your day. Well, if you have a sunrise view to share with us, please do so on our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. But let's look at today's temperatures. Starting off in Polokwane, your low is 16, your high 26. Mbombela 18.28. Pretoria 16.30. Johannesburg, your low is 14, your high 28. Mahikeng 16.31. Klerksdorp, your low is 15, your high 32. Some thunder showers in Kimberley, a low of 16, a high of 34. Bloemfontein 14.32. Richards Bay 21, reaching a high of 32. If you're in Pietermaritzburg, 18 is your low, 29 your high. Durban 23 with a high of 29. Rainy conditions in Mthatha 17 with a high of 28. East London 19.28. Cradock 15 with a high of 32. If you're in Gqeberha, your low is 19, your high 25. George 17.25, Cape Town 15.25, sunny in Worcester 12 your low, 35 your high, sunny in Sutherland 11 with a high of 30, and a hot day for Uppington, a low of 20 and a high of 39 degrees Celsius. Well, that's your weather for now. We'll have a final update shortly after 8.
Earlier on in the show, Zoe asked you to help her choose between two winter heroes. And option one was, remember that jacket? Or option one, rather, was this timeless, beautiful zebra-patterned jersey, if you will, with a beautiful V-neck. And then the other option was the faux fur aviator jacket with that asymmetrical zip and the detail. Beautiful stuff. And so let's have a look at what some of your votes have said on social media. Linda Tolo said, hashtag Expresso Show, good morning Expresso Show team. Definitely option one, I love the V-neck jumper. Ashwin said option one will fit Zoe best. I love the cut and the print will look good on her. Hashtag Expresso Show. Nishi, hello. Good morning, family. Definitely option one. Jeremy says definitely option one. Hashtag style by Woolies. Do we have any more? Those were the votes as they came in. The nation has spoken. Ladies and gentlemen, Afrika Buraga Bupara, we present to you Zoe Brown. Come on, celebrate. You late. Yes. Woo. Yes.
Thank you.
Looking right as rain.
Yeah,
How do you feel? How do you feel?
Oh, feels so cozy. I mean, just feel this jersey.
Oh, that is very cozy.
It's buttery soft.
Buttery soft. Cheesy smooth.
Very smooth. Listen, this is cozy. I mean, we are getting a bit chillier in studio, so I'm welcoming the layers. And this is great for transitional wear because the morning starts off cold, you can take it off and you still have your original outfit that can work well on its own.
Absolutely.
And then after work tonight, you know, as it gets cooler, you can just slip it back on and you'll never get cold. You won't get sick.
And what I love about this as well is that, like, during that afternoon little lunchtime, you could take it off, go over your shoulder, give it a little bit of a bow, and then très chic, très bien, oui, oui.
It will look like you're in Paris.
So beat the cold in chic wardrobe updates that'll last this season and beyond. Shop the winter heroes and other layering items at Woolworths, in-store, online, and of course, on the app. Lovely stuff.
Thank you.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Once again, it's your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning. Now, on Friday, the 3rd of March, we'll be celebrating World Wildlife Day. Now, this day is dedicated to celebrating wild animals and plants, plus their continuous contribution to, of course, our lives and our livelihoods and the health of our planet. And this year's theme is Partnerships for Wildlife Conservation. And what better way to celebrate than by chatting to WWF South Africa's Head of Business Development, Justin Smith. And he's joining us this morning to chat about the importance of preserving and protecting our wildlife. Great to have you.
Yeah, good to have you, Justin.
Good morning, gents.
Yeah, man, look, I'm so excited because this is obviously right up my alley, and I think for a lot of South Africans that celebrate the magic that we have. But let's talk about WWF, what exactly you guys are doing, especially when it comes to preserving South Africa's magic and beauty that we have. How do you guys form a part of this whole thing?
Yeah, so I think to start with, South Africa is one of the 10 most biodiverse countries in the world. So, as you said, we've got these incredible natural resources around us. And that makes it quite important for us to preserve it, not only for our own, but as almost for the world. Because we've got these unique plants, animals, and systems that if they're gone, you know, a lot of things that depend on nature are going to fail. And we depend on nature for food, for fuel, for medicine, and other resources.
Happiness, joy.
No, I mean,
The important stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've got this incredible connection and dependency on nature. So we've really got a responsibility to make sure it continues to work properly into the future. And I mean, at the moment, it's not working that well. We've really destroyed a lot of it. So we've got to not only try and stop doing that, but also restore some of the functioning of the systems around us as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we're seeing some pictures right now that, you know, from work that you have done with WWF. In what ways is wildlife being threatened right now and exploited? I mean, you are at the front lines of that battle.
There's a number of really big threats. I guess, you know, a lot of people know about illegal wildlife trade and poaching on some of the key species in South Africa, particularly things like rhinos, pangolins, and others. We also have an issue with alien invasive plants and animals that get brought into the country and then end up almost sort of displacing the natural populations of animals. Climate change is really causing a lot of challenges in terms of not only the sort of droughts and flood side, but also temperature increases, making it very difficult for certain species to continue to exist. And the other big issue with climate change, obviously, in South Africa is water scarcity. So, you know, a lot of the species depend on sort of regular water availability. So you've got all of these kind of threats working together, and it's quite an interconnected web to try and solve the challenges around it as well.
Yeah, and rightfully so, you guys are doing incredible work in trying to solve that. I mean, I'm taking into account and looking at what you guys have done over the past few years. I can't even begin to create a list of the impact you have in these various different spaces, right? I mean, we're talking about the ocean, we're talking about land, communities that work together, we're dealing with pollution as well. Where are you guys at this year? Like, what is the plan? Is it just to kind of continue to tackle everything that we can when it comes to this conversation? Or do you have like a specific strategy going forward for the next few years?
We've always got kind of a short, medium, and long-term strategy. I think we know a lot of the challenges we're working with are not going to be solved overnight. A lot of the international commitments around issues like biodiversity protection and climate change are through to 2030 and even 2050. So all of that seems very far away, but actually if we don't change things right now, the trajectory to get there is impossible. So we're really trying to work with individual South Africans, with businesses, with government to create that understanding of the need to really make changes now. And I mean, we're starting to see that some of that happen. In December last year, there was a global biodiversity agreement that was finalized in Canada, and that effectively means that across the world we need to protect 30% of our land and oceans. And that's what people think will at least give it a fighting chance in terms of recovery and restoration of nature into the future. In South Africa, we are a pretty long way away from that. I mean, right now, we only have about 5% of our own marine environment protected.
Oh, wow.
And about 12%, depending how you look at it, on land. So one of our big jobs as WWF is to work with landowners, with communities, to look at protecting and securing their sort of habitats. And for many, we're seeing them commit, you know, to only have good agricultural practices, to kind of protect the species that operate or live within their lands as well. So it really is where we started from, a partnership between ourselves, government, business, communities, to kind of push that growth of our footprint and make sure South Africa's biodiversity is protected.
I'm listening to you talking about, like, you know, treaties being signed and agreements being signed, and I'm thinking to myself, why does it seem like it's such a mission and such a push to convince the world and people who live in this world that it's so important to look after our environment? Where's the pushback coming from? And then part of that question, I want to talk about what you as WWF are doing to celebrate and commemorate World Wildlife Day this year.
So I think, unfortunately, there's always people with a very short-term perspective. So if I'm a business, where's my next quarterly results or 6-monthly results coming from? And I'm going to do the most, you know, if I have to exploit something to kind of have good results, I might do that as a business. That's not all businesses, but it is something that happens. So we've got to get people to stop thinking about immediate exploitation of resources and actually thinking, how do you kind of change the way you operate over the long term and make sure that there's going to be enough available, not only for your business to continue, but also for everybody who depends on nature to have an opportunity as well. So I guess one of the things we tried to do, just to highlight some of the challenges around nature right now, is a campaign called World Without Nature on World Wildlife Day. So our logo and any other logo that's got some aspect of nature in it, we're asking organizations to actually just delete the logo for the day. So have a blank and kind of get people to start thinking more and more about what would happen if we didn't have nature. So if you are, you know, let's say Morocco swallows.
Yes.
No swallow.
No longer have swallows.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you tiger brands in South Africa, no tiger.
Wow.
So it's a very simple mechanism, but it's just one to get some discussion and awareness going.
If you're a sports brand that has an animal jumping over
The
some
cheetahs.
print, take away that puma. No more of that.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, Justin. Really appreciate it, and highlighting the importance of us having to look after what essentially is the future of our world. And if you'd like to find out more and support World Wildlife Day that is happening on the 3rd of March, you can visit www.wwf.org.za.
Oh, well, listen, I made a new friend in studio today. Can I introduce you to Kenny? He is a Brazilian rainbow boa, and he's hanging out with us today. But today on social media, we actually asked you the topic. Do you remember your first wildlife encounter in South Africa? What's your favorite wild animal? And this is what you had to say. We have Lebo saying, happy Tuesday. The closest encounter to wildlife was at a zoo in my area, and the boy was epic. It's an epic long story, but some cute monkeys stole my son's hat. Oh, and monkeys tend to be quite playful and quite adorable. Katlego, do you want to come say hello to me?
I'm all right.
Right over there.
I like saying hello from a distance.
You want to say hello from a distance?
Oh, it looks beautiful on you, Zoe. So stunning.
Oh, well,
especially with that top you've got on.
No, you know what? Kenny is a beauty. We will appreciate him as he is. I just want to keep his face away from my face. And then we're okay.
Oh, come on, Zoe. Give us a
And then we have Zacharion. You know, I love how my producers want me to read these comments, but I need to keep an eye on the snake. Zacharion says it was a huge bird at an animal park we took the kids to. It wasn't aware of the environment. And Kenny is wrapping himself around my arm. You can read the comment while it's on your screen. How does that sound?
Zoe, I heard snakes like to whisper in your ear. Give it a little bit of a whisper there.
We'll see you now. Let me put Kenny back in his carrier.
Oh my gosh.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. Katlejo was supposed to be here, but I am now here
Where did he go?
occupying his seat. Because we have some special friends.
I'm taking care of things here by the music block. Everything is fine here. Thanks. Thanks.
Well, we do have some great entertainment for you, and we are also celebrating World Wildlife Day ahead of its Awareness Day on the 3rd of March. And we have decided to invite conservationist, snake wrangler, and owner of Deep South Reptile Rescue, Steve Mahan?
Megan?
Megan,
yeah.
joining us in studio. He is here with his friends. Steve, it's great to have you here. Everyone knows you're Steve the snake catcher.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, and thank you for bringing these beautiful creatures along with you. Wow.
You are very welcome. So this is Slash. He's a reticulated python, and he comes from the longest species of snake in the world.
Oh, wow, okay.
So his mother is over 7 meters.
Oh, wow.
And over 100 kilos. So she's quite a big snake.
Is she still a baby?
This is still a baby, yes, very much so. He's only 2 years old.
All right. And just for the record, she doesn't bite? Poisonous?
They can bite. Look, everything with a mouth can bite, but this one's got no venom.
So you can't die from this bite, right?
Yeah. Listen, Steve, let me get straight into it. When was your first encounter with these majestic beings? Was it a skrik moment for you, or was it like a wow, jaw-dropping?
It was a jaw-dropping moment. Okay, so I'm from Scotland initially. So when I first came here, I was only 9 years old. So my first mission in life was to get out in the garden and find out what lives in South Africa.
Okay, wow.
All right. So I had a host of house snakes that I used to nurture in the garden. So they were wild snakes, but they used to live under certain rocks.
So you were that kid?
I was that kid. I was that guy. So I used to go...
Snakes in the house?
Yes, I got some snakes in the house, like these guys.
Oh, Mom must have loved you.
Yeah, my mom loved me very much. So anyway, funny story is, I went to pick up an olive house snake, which is a harmless species.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a Cape Cobra had moved in and eaten my olive house snake.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
And being a 9-year-old kid, I didn't realize the difference. So when I went to pick up my olive house snake, it was indeed a cobra. So that made an umbrella at me.
Wow, okay.
And I had to go and change my pants. And then I went to the library. So back in the day, the only thing you could do was go to the library and read books. So I went and I read all the books that I could get, the Fitzsimmons books and the early books on snakes of Southern Africa. And that's how I started getting more into it and more academically into things with snakes.
Sparked the passion to definitely
Sparked the
try
passion,
and want to
yes.
know more about them. Wow, and how could you blame it?
So then I got a mentor, and my mentor showed me how to handle them properly, how to keep them properly, and how to breed them properly.
Okay, and how old were you when that...
I was only 9 when that happened.
When that happened,
So
also at the age
I picked
of 9.
up a cobra bare hand at 9 years old.
Oh,
What do you mean?
brave.
No, I wouldn't advocate doing that. So there's tools. So I do training. So I do health and safety training to teach people how to use the tools properly so you don't hurt the snakes or yourself. And also the first aid, which is very important, and how to identify snakes. Because in South Africa, we get roughly 176 species that are documented.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? Now, out of that, around half of them are venomous, but only 16 of them are medically significant to us. So from those 16, you get 2 kinds of antivenom that treat those bites. One is called monovalent. Monovalent is for the boomslang, and it's specific for the boomslang because that's a hemotoxic snake. So that is drop for drop the most venomous snake in Africa.
Yeah, okay, so be careful of that.
Yes.
Now look, I mean, with obviously, geez, I'm just looking at an image now that's just come up. Is that a python, I would
That
imagine?
is actually Slash's mother.
Oh,
Yes, so that is Palmer.
Wow, Slash Mom's big.
Slash mom's very big. That's why she's not here. She would have taken up the whole studio.
I can imagine, man. And look, in our country in South Africa, we have such a weird perception when it comes to these animals. They are evil. They are perceived as like bad omens. We need to get rid of it. And this sad thing is that it almost seems like the initial response is almost just to kill it.
Exactly.
What is your situation when it comes to dealing with these issues? What is your recommendation to South Africans when they encounter a snake?
As Deep South Reptile Rescue, we strive for conservation through education. Now, obviously in South Africa, we're very diverse. The cultures are very diverse, and there's a lot of myths and facts about snakes. So a lot of people believe them to be evil things and they have to be killed, but that's not the case. They're actually very important for our environment. So the wild snakes need to be protected. They need to be looked after the same as any other animal because they actually control populations of smaller animals like our mice and birds. So without snakes, we would have a big problem because there would be too many mice and birds eating all the crops. So farming would become a problem. Not only that, the snakes are also a vital food source. The smaller snakes are a vital food source for our bigger predators, like our eagles, our mongoose, our porcupines, all sorts of animals prey on snakes. So they're a vital part of the ecosystem. And as Deep South Reptile Rescue, we try to promote that image, not the scary image. So all the things you see on Google about snakes like this laying next to you in bed and sizing you up, it's untrue. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
As you can see, Slash is very happy just to chill with me. He's not interested in biting anybody.
Yeah,
He
looks
is
like
looking
it.
happy.
Yeah.
I know we have to go to our music soon, but just Steve, how many snakes do you personally have at home? Like, how many pets?
I've got a number of pets because I do the education work. So I've got currently 64 because one of my snakes gave birth.
All right. Not many visitors at your place then, right?
No, I've actually got a lot of visitors at my place. My friends actually love it. A lot of my friends were scared of snakes in the beginning, but from meeting snakes like Slash, that's very calm and very nice, they've gotten used to it.
I don't know. Can I?
You can give it a cuddle, yeah.
Nothing's going to happen, right?
Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
I got you.
What do I do? Just have my hands out?
Yeah, just put your hands out and I'll...
Be cool, Raul. Be cool. Be cool.
Stick it in
Keep
your
his
hand.
head away from me, please.
All right, I will do.
That's
He's going to climb around. He just wants to see
I'm
the
all for
furniture.
snakes, but not the head.
There's a beautiful color, like an iridescent sort of feel to it, but
Yeah.
I've got to say, honestly, it's giving me a calming feel more than anything else.
It is. It's very soothing. They actually do a Malaysian massage using snakes, believe it or not.
No, this is not going anywhere near my neck, Cat.
Hello, Bobo.
Let me just control his head because he loves you. He wants to come and say hi.
See, this is probably the conversation and interview where I made the least amount of eye contact with my guest, but I think understandably so.
Yes, you're keeping
I'd
your
rather
eye
make
away.
eye contact here and make sure that he's not coming for
He's
me.
quite active.
Oh, and he's got a grip on him.
Yeah, he does.
Catch your neck. Hey, listen. I've got nature behind me. Look at the greenery. It's amazing. That's all the nature I need. But listen, it's been a short while since our next guest graced us in the Feel Good studios, Lauren Lee, and she's been cooking something premium in the music booth, and we're lucky enough to have her in studio today. It's great to have you back.
It's good to be back.
How's life been since we last saw you? What have you been up to?
Life's been good.
Yeah?
I'm releasing a new song today. So
This is amazing.
Yes, that's a good thing. It's been a while since I've released something.
And then we get to hear it exclusively as well.
Yes.
Very, very exciting. But we thought that in order to get to know you a little bit, for those who have never heard of you before, we'd get to know you with a little game of Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
Can I ask you a few questions?
You may.
So, never have I ever been afraid of the dark.
I am very afraid of the dark.
So what are you doing load shedding then?
The flash. I won't lie to you. So I'll be sleeping, and the lights will be off, and then I just sense the lights are off. Then I'm like, please put on the flash. I need some light.
Wait, you'll be sleeping.
I'll be sleeping.
And load shedding hits, and then you no.
So put on the flash. Yes.
Okay.
I can't deal.
I find this one quite interesting. Never have I ever been mentioned on Beyonce's official Wikipedia page.
I have been.
You have?
Yes.
Please tell me about that. How did that happen?
I didn't even know until my manager told me that we are on Wikipedia's page.
Is that after?
After Staplinks, yes.
Oh my word.
Yes.
What did they say about that on the Wikipedia page? Do you remember?
I do not remember. I'm gonna lie if I say it.
Has Beyonce ever replied to you herself?
No.
Because you know that video is still going viral, right?
Yes.
Everywhere where it's discovered all throughout the world,
Yes.
people are still retweeting it.
Yes, they are. And we did it on Expresso in 2017.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you might remember the words, to the left, everything you own in the box, to the left, in the box, yes, that's my stuff. Hey, don't touch. Beautiful. But right now, we're about to get a taste of your original music, right?
Yes.
Talk to me about the song that you're about to perform for us now.
So the song that I'm about to perform is called Want Your Love. So normally, people would always write things to the guy they love or to whoever else. But this song, I call my songs letters.
Letters.
So this is a love letter that I wrote to myself.
Beautiful.
So I believe that you first need to love yourself in order to give love, you know? So yeah, that is what my next song is about.
Absolutely love it. The stage is all yours.
Thank you.
Take it away.
For the longest time, I've seen you about 1,000 times. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. Let me guess, nothing good to say. I know what you wanna say and do, breaking me down every time. Yes, I know the things you're leading to, thinking I'm nothing, not but loving. I want your love right now. I need your love right now, baby, baby. I want your love right now. I need your love right now, baby, baby. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. I want you to see the light. I want you to live a life. Hello, baby. Hello, baby. You're the one who has to choose whether you want to win or lose. I know your past wasn't good to you. Too much mess of lies and sad goodbyes. I know you're strong enough to learn and get up and move and grow. I need your love right now, baby, baby, baby. No, I want your love right now. I need your love right now, baby, baby. Yes, you're the one that I've been waiting for. Yeah, you not some other boy. Yes, you're the one who needs to love you. And everything about you. Can't do this for you. So choose, baby. So choose, baby. Can't do this for you. So choose, baby. So choose, baby.
Oh man, Lauren Lee on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Woo! Girl, where you fetch those notes from? All the way in heaven?
Yes.
That's what it is. Sweet sounds, sweet sounds. Where can people find your music?
People can find my music on all digital platforms.
All right, and that particular song was I Want
Your Love. Want Your Love, Lauren Lee.
Want Your Love, Lauren
Yes.
Lee. We'll have more from this young lady, but later on, stay tuned.
It's The Crush. Unlock your 100% TV show. Catch all the excitement as we unlock Crush fans' full potential to live their dreams. Watch the show on SABC2 starting on the 1st of February every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Plus, you stand a chance to win your share of thousands of prizes. Simply buy any Crush and follow the pack for entry details. Crush, 100% goodness.
To the left,
To the left, everything you own in a box. To the left, in the closet, that's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, say, don't touch. Don't touch. Keep getting that miss, that's
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on S3. We have Snakes in studio, and it's been a very nature-filled morning. And we thought in our eco news, we are going to be focusing on our beloved trees. Once more, they are indispensable to the environment, but under attack in the form of bark stripping. Now, we are joined in studio by tree surgeon, otherwise known as an arborist, Francois Krieger. He is also the chairman of the Friends of the Adern Gardens Initiative. Now, it's great to have you here, Francois.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And let's get straight into it, because I don't think a lot of people are maybe even aware of this topic. And if they aren't, now is the right time to find out. So what exactly is bark stripping to start off with?
Bark stripping is the removal of bark from a tree, usually done in the most convenient way, which is off the trunk of the tree at base where it's accessible.
Okay.
And what are the consequences of stripping a tree from its bark?
Well, the bark is a corky protective layer over the vascular system. So if you remove part of the bark, you're damaging the tree's vascular system in that area. If you remove all the bark right around the trunk of a tree, it generally just kills it.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So what is the point, and why are people even stripping bark in the first place? I mean, what is the bark even like necessarily used for?
Bark is used in traditional medicine in South Africa, and I think something like 65% of South Africans make use of alternative non-Western medicine, and so there's a huge demand for the product.
Okay. And each tree, I would imagine, has some sort of perception as to a various sort of treatment in that scene, I would imagine, right?
So there are two separate issues. The one is the removal of bark from city trees, which are exotic trees. Mainly, 99% of that is Chinese camphor. So I would call that pseudo-muti because it's not a traditional African remedy.
Yeah.
And the product is camphor oil, which is readily available in Vicks and Zambak.
Okay.
Then there's the other issue of bark stripping up in the forest, and that is for traditional medicine.
Okay, all right, I didn't even know about that, wow.
How can we, obviously this is of great concern, how can we, what intervention is needed to preserve our trees? How can we stop or prohibit this from becoming a bigger problem?
So traditionally, sangomas would go into the forest and remove a small slither of bark from a tree. However, increasingly with urbanization, the dynamic has changed, and it's actually criminal groups going into the forest and destroying large parts of the forest. The Table Mountain National Park haven't had much success in combating it, and the city of Cape Town have had very little success in combating it within the city streets. So the forest is slowly dying and we're losing thousands of street trees. And the remedy for us as active citizens is to create a physical contamination of the product by painting the trees.
So if you paint the trees, that means it doesn't harm the actual tree, but for the person that would be interested in stripping that bark, it would be a deterrent to them.
That's exactly it, yeah. We are aiming to contaminate the product. And it has so far worked. The trees that we have painted have not been further bark stripped. We've done a lot of urban trees with the permission of the City of Cape Town, and we're waiting for Table Mountain National Park to reach a decision on whether we can paint the trees up in the forest, although some groups have been doing so without their permission already.
Okay, so people are taking things into their own hands.
Well, look, this is definitely something I've seen in the mountain, especially, and I've seen two sides of that argument when it comes to stripping or not, because I notice also there's these issues of, I believe it's pine trees that are sort of alien overtaking some of these indigenous trees too. So I've noticed, especially if it was in sandparks, that's a great opportunity because they own quite a bit of the natural landscape that we have in our country too, right?
So the trees that are being targeted are indigenous trees, and once the area has died from bark stripping activities, it is actually alien invasives that are colonizing those areas. And that's a huge environmental issue because it means that the forest is becoming more and more vulnerable to fire because the aliens burn readily. And we stand to lose Newlands Forest within our lifetimes if something is not done. Of that, I'm convinced.
Oh, wow. Well, Mzansi, this is an interesting conversation indeed, and one that I wasn't even aware of, and something I think we all should be listening to. But this doesn't stop here. We are going to be carrying on and finding out more about this incredible topic. So for you, Mzansi, don't go anywhere. The magic and the conservation of our wildlife will continue.
So as we're getting more educated and being made aware about the nature that surrounds us, Steve was telling me now, I mean, of course, World Wildlife Day is coming up on the 3rd of March. Make a note of that in your diary. But that the reason why most people, like myself, are deathly afraid of snakes is because we don't understand them. And you say that Lexi is a very friendly boa constrictor, right?
Yes, she is a habituated boa constrictor. So she has been captive bred, and she's very calm and very used to people. So I use her for educational purposes to get people over their fears like you.
Is she calm right now?
Very calm, very relaxed.
Could I?
You could hold her, yeah.
Okay, what do I do?
Okay, just stick your hands out in front of you.
Hands in front?
We'll do a joint effort. Put your hands up towards the ceiling.
Up towards the ceiling?
No, I mean like this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then I'll just pop her across here.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
There we go. And then I'll just...
and you said that, oh, okay. She just had a little bit of a fall.
No, she's okay.
Okay.
You got her?
Oh, it's very strong. Very strong. Okay. And that's, oh, there we go. See?
There we go. She wants to climb around you. I'll follow her around to make sure you don't drop her.
If she starts... Okay, don't say that, Zoe. I can feel it in my back. It's okay. Oh, my God. I think she might have just licked my neck.
There's Lexi.
We'll see you after the break. Thanks, Lexi.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, yes, Mzansi, welcome back at your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And what a show it's been already, diving into nature and preserving the beauty of everything that we have around us, of course, and diving into eco news right now. Now, we're focusing on our beloved trees once more, and indispensable to the environment, but under attack in the form of bark stripping. So we're going to continue our conversation with tree surgeon, otherwise known as an arborist, and he goes by the name of Francis Krieke, and he's also the chairman of the Friends of the Ardeen Gardens initiative, which is something incredible happening, but we're going to find out more about the problem we are facing right now with bark and tree stripping right now. Something I didn't even know about. This is wild.
Same here, and I think that's why conversations like this is so important to put the spotlight on it. Francois, is this a new problem, or has it always been there and people are just not taking it serious enough?
People have always used traditional medicine and they've always harvested from the forest. But I think what has changed is, well, rural-urban drift has given rise to a huge population of people using the product next to a very small forest. And the trees are protected by law, so the removal of bark is illegal. So what is happening is it's become criminalized. And at night, people go into the forest and they are not sangomas, they are criminals who supply sangomas. And they strip the entire trees. So the forest is now slowly dying. It's an unsustainable practice. And the effect of the forest slowly dying is that green trees are turned into dead trees. The fuel load within the forest gets higher and higher. So all over the world, Mediterranean forests are becoming more and more prone to burning because of climate change. But we're creating a cocktail of climate change and dead trees and alien invasives colonizing where the dead indigenous trees were growing. And if one was to look at it from the outside, one would say that we are creating the perfect storm for the destruction of our forests.
Oh, wow. So the way I understand it is not actually so much traditional healing that is the problem, but it's more the way the product is now sourced, right? They're almost essentially harvesting and over-exploiting the sort of the use of this material that is available to us naturally, right?
That's exactly it. There's large areas of the forest where every tree is now dead. So going forward, what we'd like to do is paint the trunks of the largest, oldest trees to try and create an area where there's a closed canopy and the harvesters would then presumably continue with their practices in the understory, taking out the younger trees. That would be more sustainable. So we aim to influence their activities through an intervention in the absence of any meaningful law enforcement to combat the problem.
Is there a way to still being able to get that element of the tree that they need, the part of the bark, without killing the tree? Is that even possible to reach that middle ground between protecting the environment but also meeting that demand?
Yes, theoretically, there's a very real way of doing that, and actually the science behind this is that the active compounds that the muti harvesters are after is more concentrated in the leaves and tips. So someone like myself could theoretically go into the forest, prune branches in a sustainable manner, and provide it to the traditional healers as a product. The present practice of stripping the entire bark off the base of the tree kills the tree, and you're left with the entire crown unutilized. So this would require a massive shift from the authorities in terms of attitude to the forests and attitude to conservation. It would be a complete breakthrough approach, but theoretically it's possible.
So there is a way to satisfy both parties without harming the actual environment?
I think so. I think we could go a lot further to satisfying the demand for the product and do a lot less harm in the process,
More efficiently, I like that.
Yeah. And Franco, if people want to get in touch and find out more information about Friends of the Ardeen Gardens, where can they get more information?
The Ardeen Gardens have a website. The other organization that's been very involved in all of this is Tree Keepers. They're a Cape Town NGO that have been helping fund the acquisition of paint. And the other group is the Newlands Forest Conservation Group. They're also very active in engaging with Table Mountain National Park around these issues.
Okay.
Oh, well, listen, I can't thank you enough for this conversation. It's definitely educated me, and I hope for the rest of Mzansi as well. And if you guys are finding yourselves in a situation where you see something happening, of course, you can reach out. Inquiries at capetown.gov.za. And for any other advice, of course, you've heard where you can reach out and find out more and get yourself educated on preserving the magic of our country.
Well, the time now just before 8 o'clock, and a time for us to reflect on the news headlines of the day. On the national news front, unemployment is expected to remain elevated in the fourth quarter as the economy battles low growth exacerbated by load shedding. Now, the official unemployment rate currently stands at 32.9%. Economists expect that the unemployment rate will come out at about 32.8% when Stats SA release their fourth quarter data today. The weak growth in the local economy means low job creation prospects, with expectation that growth will be below 1% this year because of the intense power cuts. Employment prospects are bleak, and the youth are the most impacted by joblessness. Now, several islands in the lower Orange River, including Cannon, Meyers, Sand, and Langlaas Islands, are cut off from the outside world. The bridges that connect the islands to the shore are underwater. Large amounts of water reached the area after at least 12 sluices in the Val Dam and several of the Bloemhof Dam were opened last week. A spokesperson for the ZF Ngau municipality at Uppington, Martha Manyehe, says that residents of the island have been taken to safety. She said that no injuries or deaths had been reported. On the international news front this morning, the International Committee of the Red Cross Director for Africa, Patrick Youssef, says that the humanitarian situation in Tigray region in northern Ethiopia is getting worse. He says that during the war between Ethiopian government forces and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, important infrastructure such as hospitals and schools were destroyed. The two parties signed a ceasefire agreement in South Africa last year. Youssef says life is returning to normal in that region, but has appealed to the international community for aid such as food and medication. And in other international headlines, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has said that the UN Human Rights Council meeting in Geneva, Switzerland, said Russia's invasion of the Ukraine has caused the worst human rights violation in the modern world. Some 100 heads of state and government representatives are in attendance, and war crimes and human rights violations are on the agenda. The head of the UN Human Rights Council, Volker Turk, warned earlier that the progress made in recent decades with human rights could be undone with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Turk labeled it a senseless war and said it was a good example of the oppression of people. And then finally, on a lighter side and a feel-good side, if you will, Besiktas soccer supporters in Turkey lobbed thousands of soft toys on the pitch during a match against Antalyaspor in a gesture to donate to children affected by the earthquakes. The match was paused after 4 minutes and 17 seconds, representing the time the first earthquake struck Turkey and Syria at 04:17 on the 6th of February. Now, from the stands, the fans began throwing the toys to go to children in Turkey and Syria. More than 50,000 people died in the earthquakes. Besiktas said their fans organized a meaningful event called This Toy Is My Friend in order to boost the morale of children affected by the earthquake. They lobbed scarves, berets, and plush toys as gifts to them. And also, search and rescue officers present at the stadium were warmly applauded by the big crowd. Besiktas defender Tiyab Sanouk said, "There are more important things than football. Our fans held a meaningful event. I was very touched, and we hope to never experience such a disaster again." Well, on that heartfelt note, that's it for the news for today. Right now, let's take another look at the world of sports, and Ryle has the latest.
Thank you so much, Mbue. Now, time to take a look at the latest when it comes to sporting action, and starting off with cricket news. Now, the Proteas will formally kick off a new era in South African cricket when they face West Indies in the first in Centurion today. That's the first test taking place now. Themba Bavuma will take the reins for the first time as captain, with Shukri Conrad heading the hosts as Red Bull coach for the two-game sequence. Now, the final assignment for the home side in their 2021-23 World Test Championship cycle. Now, the Proteas are fourth in those rankings, having been in the top three for most of the competition, although they are now officially out of the running to reach the June final. Well, sticking to our sporting action and heading over to soccer news, Argentina coach Lionel Scaloni has extended his contract until 2026 after he led the team to their World Cup triumph in Qatar last year. Now, Scolani renewed his contract after meeting with AFA President Claudio Tapia in Paris on Monday, taking him through to the next World Cup in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Now, Scolani also won the Copa America in 2021, plus the Finalissima against Italia. Now, he has a record of 37 wins, 15 draws, and 5 defeats in all 57 games. Well, carrying on with our soccer news, Argentina and PSG Paris Saint-Germain forward Lionel Messi has been named Men's Player of the Year at the 2022 Best FIFA Awards. Now, the 7-time Ballon d'Or winner beat French forwards Kylian Mbappe and Karim Benzema to the award, and Messi helped Argentina win the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, scoring 27 goals in 49 games for his club and country in 2021-22. Now, Barcelona's Alexio Putellas was named Women's Player of the Year. Lionel Scolani, who led Argentina to their 3rd World Cup title, was named Men's Coach of the Year, and Aston Villa and Argentina's Emiliano Martinez was recognized as the leading men's goalkeeper. Well, from soccer news, we head over to golfing action, and Charles Howell III claimed his first LIV Golf title at the season-opening event with a stunning 8-under par 63 in the final round in Mexico. Now, the American won $4 million plus a quarter of the $1 million prize for winning the team event with Crushers GC. Now, the 43-year-old finished on 16 under, 4 shots clear of the runner Peter Ulian, and he won approximately $42 million in 609 events on the PGA Tour after turning professional in the year 2000. Well, that's the latest I have for you when it comes to all the sporting action. For now, there's time to hit the roads and see what's happening in the latest when it comes to traffic.
Thank you, Raul. Well, let's take a final look at the roads, starting off in Bellville, Cape Town. There's congestion on the N1 inbound. It's at Durban Road. Expect delays. And in Midrand, Johannesburg, there has been an accident. It's between Allendale Road and Maxwell Drive. Please approach with caution. And that's your traffic for this morning. Let's take a final look at your weather. And we take a final look at your weather with some news. The Department of Water and Sanitation and Amatola Water have deployed another 20 water tankers to limit the impact of the drought crisis in parts of Nelson Mandela Bay Metro. The Director for Water Distribution in the Metro, Joseph Tsatire, says residents still use too much water. This while the level of supply dams stands at 12.7% and only has 184 days of water left from the 5 dams. He urges residents to reduce consumption to meet the 230 megalitres per day target. Presently, the city uses an average of 290 megalitres per day. Tare says several interventions are in place to prevent day zero, but residents have to cooperate to change the situation. Meanwhile, the SA Weather Service have issued an orange level 5 warning for disruptive rain over the northeastern parts of Limpopo and a yellow level 2 warning for disruptive rain over the Lowveld and along the escarpment of Limpopo. Well, for this morning, let's take a final look at those sunrise views. Kicking us off for your 8 a.m. update is Emil Jones, who shared this one while on his way to work, showing off the sun's rays beaming over the city, and this was taken in Buccleuch. Then Maureen Turner in Durbanville captured a peachy sky from her balcony while enjoying some hot chocolate. Prakash sent in another phenomenal photo, really showcasing his passion for nature. Look at that stunning photo that was taken in Durban Harbour alongside another photographer and taking photos of those beautiful views. Well, if you have a beautiful one that you would love to share with us, please share it with us. We also have a video that we received, and we are welcoming all of those WhatsApps to 063 408 8863. Well, let's take a look at those temperatures. Starting off in Polokwane, your low is 16, your high 26. Mbombela 18 with a high of 28. Pretoria 16 with a high of 30. Johannesburg 14 with a high of 28. Mahikeng, 1631. Claresthorpe, 1532. If you're in Kimberley, 16 is your low, 34 your high. Bloemfontein, 1432. Richards Bay, 21 with a high of 32. Pietermaritzburg, 1829. Durban, 23, reaching a high of 29. Rainy conditions in Mthatha, 17 is your low, 28 your high. East London, 19, reaching a high of 28. Cradock, 1532. Gqeberha, your low is 19, your high 25. George, 1725. Cape Town, 1525. Worcester, 12, with a high of 35 today. If you're in Sutherland, 11 is your low, 30 your high, and Uppington, a low of 20, a high of 39 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
All right, well, man's just getting ready. Of course, the show is still going down. We got to keep ourselves on fleek and, of course, get you all set for the day. But before we get into any of that, you got to stick around because the magic is going to continue straight after this. Now, I have no more the ashy hands that some people speak of in the business. And on top of that, there's something special that's about to go down right now. So right now, it's time for you, Mzansi, to get yourself prepared like I have and carry on with all the magic.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yes, Mzansi, welcome back at your Feel Good Breakfast Show. What a day. We are celebrating so much this morning, celebrating the beauty of our country and celebrating some potential winners, right?
Definitely, and it was the Nedbank and Old Mutual budget speech competition. Let's catch up with the winners.
The Nedbank and Old Mutual budget speech competition, empowering Africa's future leaders.
Ryle, Zoe, always a pleasure seeing you guys. Now, we are in the process of bettering the world one great idea at a time. And what better way to spark it up than with new ideas? And we want to do this through the Nedbank and Old Mutual budget speech competition. Now, what they did is they partnered with the future leaders of tomorrow in order to find solutions to some of the pressing challenges that we have in our economy today. What was even better is that they sweetened the deal with the fact that they stood a chance of winning their share of the pool prize of 420,000 Rand. That's amazing. And today I get to sit, or I get to at least be with some of the winners of the Nedbank and Old Mutual 51st budget speech competition, Sky and Songezo. How you guys doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good. So there were probably a lot of highlights when you were doing this competition. What are some of the moments that stood out for you?
So the whole experience was incredible, but I think the most memorable experience was the night of the gala. It was the moment that I stepped through those doors that I realized that this is actually a big deal. And I just remember seeing our pictures on these huge A2 boards, and we were surrounded by CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, and just all in all, just interacting with these inspiring people and being made to feel special was an awesome experience.
Wow, that sounds like a whole lot of fun. It's definitely something that I would remember. So you dress like a minister right now. It makes sense because you were lucky enough to meet our finance minister last week, and you got to speak to him about some of the budget speech, the topics on the budget speech. What are some of the elements that you would like to implement from your own essay?
Thanks. So one of my main recommendations from my essay was that the government needs to implement growth-enhancing reforms, and those reforms include, we all know this, especially in the electricity sector, we're also seeing that there's a lot of problems, and that actually constrains economic growth, but we also have other challenges which also speak to infrastructure again, especially on the transport side. So my main recommendation was that the government needs to fast-track that implementation of these reforms, as this will also improve unemployment because a significantly growing economy will also reduce poverty levels, and it will actually also generate more revenues for the government, and once that happens, there's less pressure on the fiscal. So I think overall, the government really needs to deal with the growth problem in South Africa.
Wow, you know, they called you future leaders, and it's pretty clear after that that we've got South Africa is in good hands, and we're excited for the future. Sky, there are a lot of people who are watching this and who want to enter. What motivation or words of motivation do you have for them?
So I think this is an incredible platform for our voices to be heard. And by entering, you get an opportunity to share your solutions, your ideas to the betterment of the South African economy, because we're applying the theory that we've learned now to practical situations. So I think in writing your essays as you apply for this competition, be bold, be hopeful, and enjoy the process.
Wow, be bold, be hopeful, and enjoy the process. So here's what is next for you?
Difficult to predict the future, I must say, but I recently started a new role as a research analyst at the PIC. So I think I'm going to be there for a while, maybe the next few years, but it won't be forever. So I'm thinking that I will still remain in government because I enjoy being involved in the formulation of public policies.
And they're definitely in good hands. And yourself?
So I'm doing my honors in economic science at the moment, but this opportunity has opened up so many doors that I've been able to secure a bursary to do my master's in behavioral economics. And yeah, I hope to apply the theory in behavioral economics to economic policies in South Africa and bring a more human factor to our policies.
Wow, this thing has done, the Nedbank and Old Mutual budget speech competition has done so many great things for people. I can see it's exposed you guys to such great things. And I'm so excited for you guys. I'm excited for everybody else who's partaken in this. And also some good news for economic students who want to enter this. You have a great opportunity to enter. Make sure you enter, you win your share of the cash prize. There's a lot to look forward to with this. So keep your eyes peeled, keep your eyes open. There's going to be a lot more information after this. Yes, it is so exciting. Are you guys excited to see the next cohort?
Yes, and I think I'll apply again.
I don't know if you're allowed to do it. It's the PIC yourself.
No, so once you win at postgrad, you can't go again. So I'm done. Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah. And for the future, are you going to coach some of the people who are writing the essays?
definitely. There were people that also helped me. Some of them were previous winners, so I'm definitely open to helping becoming undergraduates and the postgraduates to win.
Ooh, I think a lot of people are going to be hitting up your phone for that. Once again, economic students, make sure that you take your chance and go enter the Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition. This is the 52nd edition, and we're excited to see you there. We're excited to hear your ideas and read your essays to make this world a better place. Back to you, Ryle and Zoe.
Oh, thank you, Harmony. Wow, you're tall.
Yes, and you see how they're looking up at him like, whoa. Man, I've missed you so much, Harm, but it's so good seeing you do your thing.
There we go. And we've got some good news for economist students who are keen to be claiming some of this amazing prize money. It is the 52nd edition of the Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition. It is now open and we are waiting for your entries. And if you're wondering about the essay topics, well, we're about to sort you out.
Yeah, so the essay topics are in the form of two versions now. For undergraduate students, you discuss the inflation dynamics in emerging markets between 2017 and 2022 and the implications for the conduct of monetary policy with a particular focus on South Africa. Interesting stuff. Now we've got another topic for postgraduates, right?
That's right. So here's your topic, postgrad students. What is your view on the just energy transition? Discuss the potential impact on the South African economy. Is this a game changer that will support future growth, or is it another plan doomed to fail?
Oh,
well,
interesting stuff.
That is your question.
Yeah, so you can submit your entry in the form of an essay, and that's before the 30th of June, and you could be in the running to win your share of 420,000 Rand in prizes and money up for grabs. It's so simple, and all you got to do is visit budgetspeechcompetition.co.za for more information. Simple as that.
The Nedbank and Old Mutual Budget Speech Competition, empowering Africa's future leaders.
Well, from undergraduates to postgraduates to a master in the kitchen, Gabby San Giorgio is in here, and she's going to be educating us on how to make some delicious food right now.
Clover No Lac, lactose-free milk that lets you enjoy dairy again. Made with love by Clover.
And we certainly put all of our love into what we do. And earlier on, we showed you how to make some delicious lactose-free mozzarella cheese thanks to Nolac from Clover. And now, we're going to show you how to use that in making a spicy, lactose-free, cheesy pasta. And as I said, Gabby's here to take us through all of the steps. Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, the family doing well?
They're good, thank you.
Excellent, excellent.
So
all right.
your family nearly grew with a snake.
Oh,
that was very terrifying.
What an experience. What an experience. All right, let's get into this. So a couple of ingredients featuring my favorite as well, some chicken.
Some nice chicken
breast. We're going to make this, right?
Yes. So, I mean, pretty much, we've already got our pre-cooked pasta here. We've obviously got our Clover No-Lac milk over here.
Yep.
And we've obviously got a nice lactose-free cheese as well.
Excellent.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start by grilling our chicken, just to get that nice color on the pan.
So your pan is nice and hot.
Nice and hot.
Because you want to seal the chicken outside so it maintains its moisture on the inside.
Absolutely.
And then once you get it cooking in that simmering, beautiful sauce, it'll cook slowly on the inside.
Exactly, because you also want to get that nice kind of bit of char at the bottom of the pan just to kind of continue with that flavor. And while I'm getting that color on it, I'm going to just speak you through. We've got tomato paste as well. We've got our spices and our herbs. We've got some garlic powder, chili powder, cayenne, salt and pepper. And obviously the other ingredients I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's super simple. As soon as your kind of chicken is browned to your liking, in the meantime, I'm actually going to just add our herbs and our tomato paste and our spices.
And one secret I've now learned, and I feel like I need to share it with everybody who loves a tomato umami-based sauce, like I do, especially like when it comes to things like bolognese, is give yourself time. Cook that tomato out so that it works out all of that acidity. That's how you get that delicious umami flavor coming out. Because I always thought it was just about ladles and spoons full of sugar, just to kind of counterbalance it, or more cream, more cream. Like,
yeah, but that's what all the aunties used to tell us, right? I mean, that's, you know...
don't bring the aunties in, because you might get in some trouble.
So I've actually just added our spices here. I'm just going to add a little bit more oil just to move this around a bit.
There we go.
And now the chili is absolutely in my throat.
Exactly.
Don't breathe in.
Talk to me about... that's why I have this Is that
thank
working?
you, top tip when you're cooking spice.
Get yourself a sous chef with a tablecloth. But cooking the spices as well in order to allow those flavors to come out,
Absolutely. So I basically also like, another tip also with spices is you actually almost want to have a bit of a dry pan or a bit more of like an empty pan.
Yes.
Because then it kind of brings out the flavor of the spice as well.
So would you actually, or would you do that in a separate pan?
You can if you want to, but I mean, our pan at the moment is fine. I mean, so basically, a lot of people put like their liquids and then the spice, rather do it first.
Okay.
So it kind of gets that like toasty flavor. Like when you make a curry, you often will toast your spice beforehand to really bring out the flavor.
2 tips right there.
There we go.
Okay, fantastic.
So that's doing well. I'm now going to add our obviously clover no-lac milk. So start with that creamy factor.
Lovely stuff.
And that's going to kind of bubble away.
Okay, and then I need to grate some cheese first, right?
Oh yeah, please, that would be great. We've also got a
that would be great. I see what you did there, Gabby.
So punny.
Okay, so here we go. So you said we're using a lactose-free cheese,
Yes,
right?
we are.
In keeping with the theme of clover no-lac, which allows you to enjoy all of the deliciousness of dairy without the inconvenience of lactose if you are intolerant or if you're just looking to change things up in your diet as well. And also, it's got a lovely little sweetness to it, the clover no-lac.
Oh,
So
it really does,
if you want to add that to your coffee, which I did the other day, and then I didn't need to add any sugar.
Oh, yeah, no, I also find that you don't actually have to add any sugar. It's actually amazing. I'm going to do now, because this is actually looking really yum. I'm actually going to add a little bit more of our clover no-lac just to give it that extra bit of creaminess. And then I'm going to add our lactose-free cheese.
Should I add this as well, the cheese that I'm grating now?
Yes, that would actually be great. Actually, yeah, do you want to keep that for when we top in a little bit of pasta later?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to just kind of add some of this.
There we go.
And then and this is going to melt all nicely.
I've done some great things here, look at that.
Great things. Great things. And yeah, this is going to melt. Actually, you don't want to put a little bit of a handful of that.
Bit more of this,
let's just add in the cheesy,
here we go.
vibe. Perfect.
Oh my word, look at that.
Thank you. We're going to do it properly.
I'm going to bring this around you. And then...
And this is going to... I'm actually going to turn off our pan now because the cheese is going to naturally melt. It's already hot. And I'm going to toss in our pasta just so you can see the stick. And thankfully, we already have a ready-made one.
So to this, we're going to get our lactose-free cheese that we made, the soft cheese, right?
Yes.
And by this time, you've made it. It's set quite a bit.
On it, yes.
Exactly. It's got a nice little crumble on it. You kind of just get that. Oh, my goodness. That looks great.
No, that looks beautiful.
At that.
Almost like a ricotta.
Yes, exactly. There we go. And then we'll add a bit more of...
Just for fun, just because you can.
Funsies, a bit more cheesiness to it. The more cheese, the better. And voila, beautiful stuff. Enjoy. I'll clear this just so that it looks extra, extra nice. I think we've done very well, isn't it?
That looks beautiful.
And that was very easy.
So easy. I mean, what, like 5 minutes?
Wonderful. Can I have a bit of a taste
try.
of this?
Let me know what you think.
Just get a piece of everything.
Yeah, don't forget your protein.
You can find, of course, the recipe on our website, expressoshow.com. And if you missed any of the steps, take a look.
Made with love by Clover.
Sensodyne repair and protect with deep repair. The science is pretty amazing. It really goes deep and repairs tooth sensitivity. The science is there. It's going to improve their quality of life in a big way. This is the first thing I recommend.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Okay. This is happening. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Be cool.
World Wildlife Day is commemorated on the 3rd of March, and so we are keeping things nice and wild today. Ryle, how's that snake encounter going?
We're getting close. We're getting to know each other, as you can clearly see. This is Kenny. Say hi, Kenny. What's up? Can you see Kenny? Want to say hi to the cameers?
Do I
say what's up?
Bit of an elevated pitch in your voice?
No, just this is just my normal voice. nothing unusual.
Listen, man, Steve is here. He's the snake wrangler, so don't worry. Everyone is safe, and he's guaranteed us that everyone is safe. By the way, on social media, we wanted to connect with you and find out when was your first wildlife experience, and what is your favorite animal to encounter out there? Perseverance, which I hope that Ryle has a lot of, because this segment is going to take a long time. Large elephant at Joburg Zoo. It was a sight to behold. Elephants are majestic.
Oh, they truly are. They just invoke this wisdom within them. It's absolutely beautiful.
Linda says, my first encounter with an animal, it was when I was little, and we were in a bus, and lions were sitting next to our bus. Yo, can you imagine that, eh? And as a child, your imagination must be going crazy. Like, what if the lions get into the bus or they topple the bus?
Yeah, and it's
you know,
the
this
king
kind
of the jungle, man. Imagine encountering that. That is incredible.
Rose says, I simply love the wildlife. Been on a few safari tours, especially St. Lucia. Having to see the big five overall, it's the lion that stands out to be my favorite.
King of the jungle again, yeah.
Paulina says, yes, we used to go camping in Pilansburg growing up. My all-time favorite is the lion. Everybody loves the lion.
Yeah, how come no one loves these snakes? They're actually quite calming and soothing as you start to kind of get used to them. Isn't that right, eh?
It's going towards you there.
Even you could go and like touch one.
Hey, I'm cool.
You're cool.
Lexi licked my ear earlier on, which was pretty hectic.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. All right, we're going to enjoy some music. Some music on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Lauren Lee standing by.
Yes, and Lauren Lee is about to perform for us, but before we get into her performance, on a scale of 1 to 10, how scared are you of snakes?
I'm very scared of snakes, so they shouldn't even bring it close to me.
Okay, so we'll keep the snakes away from our performer today. But Lauren Lee, you're about to perform a song, Insane in Love.
Yes.
Insane Love.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit more about this song. What is it about? Is it one of your own original songs?
Yes, so all the songs that I'm performing today are all my originals. And Insane Love is a song I wrote in 2016 for a very, very special someone, and then I got married to that special someone.
Oh, okay. That is quite special.
Yes.
Indeed. Okay,
Yeah.
well, how long have you been married now?
5 years.
5 years.
To that lovely man at the back.
Ah, fantastic. Well, listen, this one is called Insane Love. Lauren Lee is here to take it away.
When our hands touch, my heart melts for your warm touch that leaves me stupidly insane for your love. And you can call me crazy, but I'm falling for you. Only you. When you compliment me, it's so hard to take. With the expectation of the worst, when I look in your eyes, I'm expecting to see that it's fake. Yeah. And you can call me crazy, but I'm falling for you. Only you. Confusion, hidden agendas, letting go of what I used to know. Under no illusions, I've been mistaken. I'm prepared to give it a go. Oh, for the love I found in you makes me wanna be close to you. Thought that you would change, but you didn't. But you didn't. No, and you heart melts for your warm touch that leaves me stupidly insane for your love.
That was beautiful. Now, how does it feel to work with husband on a consistent basis?
It feels good, but when we're in studio, because he's my producer as well.
Okay.
So 2 of the songs that you're hearing today, he produced.
Okay.
And so we butt heads. Because
Okay.
he tells me, you need to understand, we're not husband and wife. We are working together.
I'm your producer.
I'm your producer. I'm your MD, so you need to understand. It's difficult for me.
Is it difficult?
But I need to understand the assignment,
Well, the
you know?
producer knows how to get the hit a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Lauren Lee is on your Feel Good Breakfast show. She's not going anywhere. Her hubby's not going anywhere. The band's not going anywhere. They've got another performance coming your way.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We are in the kitchen with Gabby San Giorgio, and we're about to show you how to make these super easy and tasteful popsicles that are perfect. It is the perfect snack needed when you want to refresh yourself on a hot summer's day. You can enjoy dairy again with the use of the lactose-free or milk alternatives by creating these lactose-free popsicles in 2 easy ways. We are changing out the fruit. That is how we're making it in 2 easy ways.
Yes, absolutely. So
where
which
we
one? No, should we start? Do you want to start
Let's
this one?
start, yes. So what fruit do you have? You've got some avo.
We've got avo for that little creamy vibe and mango. Ooh. And then obviously with our clover nolac. And then that side we've got banana and nectarine.
Oh, sounds like winning combination. So I'll start off by getting
that one.
Bananas in, getting the nectarines in.
Perfect, thank you.
We're going to add some maple syrup to this, and then
Yes.
of course our clover nolac.
Yes. So we're going to kind of do it until that little max line on the smoothie cups is about 350 ml.
So they did say it's an easy recipe. There we go. We are on the max line. We are sharing ingredients here today.
And then, yeah, so I've obviously got my avo this side.
I'm going to grab this from
Yes,
you.
you start doing that. I'm going to
And then you just simply blitz it up.
Yeah, that's all you do. Literally, it's so easy. And then you pop it into, dropping mango here.
Fresh fruit, it's okay. What they don't see, they don't know. Now, how much should you blend? Because I obviously don't want the fruit to lose its chunkiness.
Yes, of course. So, okay, good point. If you want it to like have like the texture, then don't blitz it all the way. If you're someone that's like, I want it smooth, especially for the kids that, you know, but like, mine's got stuff in it, because that happens, then blitz it all the way.
Okay,
so,
fantastic.
But yeah, good point there, because some people actually do prefer it a little bit more
I do
textural.
like the chunky textures. So what I've got here is my blend, and I'm simply going to add it to our ice cream, our popsicle containers. I feel like this is not an easy thing to do neatly.
Yeah, usually I would put it in a jug, because I would spill that everywhere. So I'm so
just
glad
throwing
you're
it
the
in
one
the
doing
middle.
it.
And we just clean it up at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go, and it fills up both sides at the same time. That's a nice handy hack.
Ah, that's cute. Put this here.
Just fill it up.
Lift your little blender.
And then we'll put this... Okay, I got a bit aggressive there with the
It's okay. It's okay.
Neaten it up.
So actually, so fun fact about almost similar to ice cream, it will obviously have, hence the bubbles, quite a bit of air. So when you start freezing that will start condensing, and you won't have it. Actually, it will drop a little bit.
Drop a little bit.
So
okay.
that's actually fine. So this is actually quite a thick one.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so you kind of, I guess, have best of both worlds. You've got more of like a sorbet one.
The creamy one. And the icy one, because obviously with all the fruitiness that we get.
Yeah, so this is a proper, actually, yeah, this is, I think, more like an ice creamy one.
Ooh.
And that's more of a popsicle. And you literally going to pop this into the freezer to set. And
don't fill it as full as I made mine. Like that, I was just being greedy.
Listen, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and then literally you pop it into the freezer, and then thankfully we already have some cute little ready-made ones.
Well, we do have some ready-made ones, and you can simply serve it. I mean, this is such a beautiful way of serving it. Put some fresh fruit on your platter, some ice, and you can also finish it off with a teeny tiny drizzle of the maple syrup.
Oh, just for fun.
Just for fun, and then you have some beautiful ices. Look at that.
I mean, that's so cute.
So which one are you interested? I'm very keen on the banana and nectarine.
Then I'll go on the green one.
You're gonna go
the
for
avocado one, the creamy one.
The green one.
Thanks, darling. Cheers.
There we go. Cheers to you. If you want to get your hands on this recipe, it is available on our website, expressoshow.com.
Very nice.
Oh, these are creamy. Yummy.
All right, we've got some very special guests here with us.
Indeed.
You heard her sing earlier on, Lauren Lee. Beautiful, beautiful talent, lovely, wonderful voice. And she joins us alongside her husband, Aiden. And, you know, as we were talking about their journey in music, we couldn't help but reflect for a moment back to, is it 2017? 2017.
Yes.
This is probably our very first super viral video. I wonder if you will remember this.
He's in the...
To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left.
God.
To the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. In the closet, that's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, say, don't touch.
Miss, that's fine. Could you walk and talk at the same time? And it is my name that is on that mess. So remove your bag so I can call you a cab. I'm standing in the yard, see, and he's telling me how I'm such a fool. He's talking me out. I will never ever find a bra like him. Yo, I
And here we are in 2023, and Laura Lee's doing it so big, man. Beautiful music. Bro, when you look at that, that's wifey a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
You must have been in love.
Yeah, he's in the video too.
In the back?
Yes.
On the drums.
Yes.
So listen, am I right in saying that, like, literally, like, within a year after that beautiful moment of commemoration, you realize, nah, I can't hold this any longer. I need a wife. I gotta make her mine.
Definitely. We were together at the time.
Yeah, we were engaged, yeah.
We were
How
actually
did the two of
engaged.
you meet?
Through music.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, so we...
belong to the same band.
Yeah, same band. And that's how we met.
And now we are a few years down the line.
Yes.
And the family has
Grown.
grown. Tell us about that journey, because that's pretty special, isn't it?
It's very special indeed. So, so we fell pregnant in 2019, and it was actually, I was pregnant that moment you actually interviewed me, but I did not know. In 2019, yes. So I was on the show, and then later that month I found out I was pregnant, and we were very excited. About it was healthy. I was healthy, and then when I went for my 32-week checkup, they told me, look, you're not going anywhere. We might have to go and fetch him very early because you have preeclampsia. So I was quite sick. Long story short, I was in hospital for 3 weeks. So I was a patient and my son. So I only saw him after 2 days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So because I was sick, he had to literally push me in a wheelchair to go and see our son because I couldn't walk because I was that swollen still. And what preeclampsia did, it affected my heart and I had high blood pressure. So I was on heart medication, high blood pressure for like 6 months. And I thank God that it didn't stay.
Amen.
Yeah, I really thank God. I'm really grateful that I'm still here and my son is, oh my gosh, you will never say that guy was so small. He's so tall now.
You made up for lost time.
Yeah, he made up. And I'm like, that's why the song is so special because I wrote it to him. Like I said, all my songs are love letters. So Want Your Love was a love letter to myself and Insane Love was a love letter to Hayden. And then To Whom It May Concern is a love letter to my son, Luca.
Oh. And that's the name of the song. And there's a special cake that you brought us with the title of the song on it that we're going to get to enjoy afterwards. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing your beautiful story with us and, you know, taking us on your journey. It's really special.
It really is. And I think this cake is fitting because this is not just the journey that we're sharing, but I think celebrating. I mean, if you look at what you guys have overcome and where you're still going, I see a beautiful, vibrant, incredible family in front of me, one that's growing and one that's also sharing their talents with the rest of the world. And I'm very, very grateful for that, as much as I know the rest of the team and Mzansi is too. So thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having us.
Can't wait to hear the song. Make sure you stay tuned. It'll be after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, you beautiful souls, welcome back at your Feel Good Breakfast Show, the moment we've all been waiting for and oh so anticipating. You've heard it on the couch, it's time to use it for the first time ever. It's an exclusive performance, an exclusive release. It's released today on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is To Whom It May Concern by Lauren Lee. Take it away.
I was excited to meet you and become your mom. Not as much as you though. You didn't want to wait that long. You must have been dying to meet me, nearly dying to meet me. I needed you as much as you need me. Feels like I've known you for years. Feels like I get you. The strangest part of it all ain't never met you. Play the lead role, stick to the script, and act like everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. That must be what they call it, baby mama drama. Yeah, that's why we shine, that's why we premeditate all our lines. Lower expectations and raise kids at the same time. That's why we wanna make all the dreams come true, no lie. That's why we fight, that's why we're strong, and that's why we know our own worth, yeah. A woman's strength is up. When two hearts beat in one body, that's a miracle, Lord. Didn't think that big strings attached, just an umbilical cord. So now you finally understand why we're so good at handling pain. Pain. I really hope that you won't ever look at us the same. To whom it may concern. To whom it may concern. A woman's strength is up. Two hearts beating in one body. Big strings attached, just an umbilical cord.
Have a beautiful day, South Africa. We love you. Bye-bye.
Yes!
To get to the heart of how you feel, all you need is love and a dish that no one cooks better than you. Made with Love by Clover.